On, love is the most beautiful thing on the planet, as they say. Is it right? Yes, very good. So we're here to discuss love. We're here to discuss passion, and we are also here to discuss marriage. And as it is one of the most important things that connect people, we have brought a guest who is experienced on the topic. Somebody who has the upper hand, if I can say so. Because we are young people, and let me remind you of the purpose of Talk Inspire. At Talk Inspire, our goal is to connect young people who are ambitious and passionate about their lives and are aspiring to do great things. We bring them together so that together we ask the right questions. We ask what are the questions that help us move forward in our lives? Like how do we move forward? How do we create lives that impact in the future? We come together and now we have an elder, somebody who is more enlightened on the question so that they share their experience. They tell us a little more about what they have endured so that together we share knowledge and we grow. And today here we are going to speak as if we are a family because after all, we are a family. So we'll have the guests. I will be asking the questions in the first place, but it will be very interactive. So at every 15 or 20 minutes, I will pause and come to you so that you have questions you ask to the guest. Together we have a conversation. So it will not be only the guest giving you the knowledge, but it will be all of us sharing knowledge together and growing. And the most important thing will be for each of us to leave here with something more. Like you have learned something that you can use in your life. You have learned something that will be valuable to you in the future. So if all of us are ready, before we start, do you know the topic? Can anybody tell me the topic that we're going to discuss here? That's where everything starts. Anybody knows the topic? You know it? Okay, let's go. Okay. Okay, I think it's long.
Thank you for giving me the floor.
Yes.
The topic is life in marriage.
Life and marriage. Yes, very good. Life and marriage. Anybody else know life and marriage? There is the second part of it. Anybody else knows it? Life and marriage? Yes. Anybody? No. Okay. I'll repeat the topic. We're going to discuss life and marriage. What makes a long and happy marriage? Let me repeat. Life and what makes a long and happy marriage. So that's what we're going to discuss. Okay. So I will now introduce my guest, and please, our guest has accepted to come here and share knowledge with us. And I have to remind all of you that this is a mission that we take on responsibly. He's not paid for it. So please, you're going to welcome him with a big round of standing ovation. Can we do that? So please welcome my guest who will introduce himself. Roger Houmasse. Dr. Roger Houmasse, please, can you please give him a big round of applause? Welcome, doctor. You can have your seat. You can have your seat. Thank you. Please, you can all sit down and let's jump right in. Hello, Dr. Roger, and thank you so much for coming and giving us the opportunity of having this conversation. It's our pleasure to host you.
It's also a pleasure for me to be before you, not as a lecturer, but as a friend. During this session, I'm not going to give you lessons, but I'm going to share some marital status with you. And I confess that I'm still having difficulties in my life regarding marriage, and it is always said that you can learn from anybody. So I'm also here to learn from you. I will give you some situations, and you are going to give me some pieces of advice. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much for that introduction. That was very humble of you, and I really appreciate it. We are all here to learn, to share knowledge. As you may know, some of us are not married. Our doctor is. He has the experience, and he will be sharing his own journey, and you also will be sharing your own experience. So before we jump right in, can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do as in life, like everything?
Thanks a lot. My name is Roger Houmasse. I'm teacher of English language at Lycée Toufa Premier. I've been teaching for 20 years now. I hold a doctorate degree in descriptive phonetics, and I'm passionate with acoustic phonetics. I'm trying to identify and explain pronunciation errors and difficulties facing non-native speakers of the language. I'm married to a beautiful and charming lady. She is busy. Otherwise, she would be here this morning to support me, but she's busy. Her name is Tanya Anaside. She is from Posotome. I myself was born in Port Novo, the 21st January 1974. I am 52 years now, and I met that lady at Calavi when I was about to complete my studies at university. So together we have three children, Stella, Jera, and Pascal. We all live together, and life goes on. Thanks a lot.
Life goes on. Thank you, lot. Can you please give a big round of applause for that? That was a good introduction. Since we're talking about marriage, he gave us everything we have to know about his marital life, and that was great. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thanks for opening up on that. So we're going to discuss marriage, and before marriage there is one step that is important. Before you move on to marriage, you have to go through a relationship. So we'll start the conversation from relationship. So since we will not define relationship, I would like you to tell us, what do you look out for when choosing somebody to say, yes, I'm getting into a relationship? So let's start from there.
Relationship. Thanks a lot. In relationship, we can split it into two parts: relation and the suffix ship. That is morphology. Relation is a connection between two items, and in the question of marriage, there are two people from different family who have received different education. I cannot tell you specifically what you can see before you start a relation with somebody. I met Tanya at the eve of Christmas. I think it was in 2001 or 2002. I was going with some of my friends, and she was also with some of her friends as well. And I met them that night of the 24th December. I'm fond of people who are dark complexion, not tall. People that I can kiss easily without raising my head. So each of you, you have your criteria, you have your tendency, that is the group of people you always like to be with. And when I saw her that night, I said, this one is very interesting. And as you know, young boys, I've started talking with her, and She didn't accept at the in the first attempt. I left her, but I tried to know where she lives, and later I saw her again, and I don't know if I'm going beyond
No,
the
let's
question.
go. Let's go. Yes.
So to round it up, there is no specific criteria. You meet the person and you don't know exactly what what makes your eyes to stay to focus on that person. You don't know, but that is the first step. If you don't want to suffer later, try to go into her or his family to see how they live. Otherwise, when you will start living together, the first or second or the third week or after the first child, you may ask for divorce.
Okay. So you said that we have to go to see the family and see how they live. So what do we look out for? Like, yes, I see the family they are living, but what are the red flags, if I can ask it like that? Or what do I see? What should I consider when I look at the family?
I said that I've just said that the great question is about education. How are they educated? That is why it is not um, so good to see your future wife or husband round the corner in the streets. If you actually feel something higher to that person, you are supposed to go into his family so that his or her parents will know that something serious is being prepared. And then you see how they talk with their parents, how they respect their parents, how she or he respects his or her parents. What is the relationship among the children? How do they eat? What do they prefer? Do they quarrel frequently? You have many questions you are going to find answer to before going to the other step. Because if you know many things concerning the education he or she has received when you will be living together, there are some aspects that other people won't accept, but you will accept because you know that it is part of the education he or she has received. And a marriage life is a continuous process. You keep working, you keep educating one another. It is not a fix. You say we are married now, everything is okay. No, it's a continuous process, and that continuous process is based on what you have learned in his or her family. Otherwise, there are some situations you are not going to accept, and at the first click, you say, "Go away, go and meet your parents."
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much for giving us the highlight about education. Very important aspect as what I keep out of this is look out for the education in the family. Now, when you meet a person, like whether it's a man that is with you at school or anywhere, when you meet them directly, you cannot ask, okay, before I accept, I want to see your family. I want to see how you live. I think for me, it's not possible. You have to maybe start living together, start not living together, but start going out maybe, and at some stage you get to meet the family. So how do we go into the relationship when we don't know exactly if we can see the family and see their education first. Because in my opinion, the first thing is, okay, we start going out and later I see the family. So what are the steps and how do we prepare the relationship and meeting the family?
Thanks, thanks a lot. When I was at Calavi, there was a sister of mine who came to stay with me. And at the first point, I told her that you are here to learn, to study, to go to school. You are not with neither your father or nor your mother. I am here your father and mother. I'm not going to give you a bodyguard that is going to check your movement. Everything is clear. Now you are beautiful. If someone asks you or someone tells you that he is interested in you, tell that person to come to see me. And when I can remember that she went for practice with some of her classmates, and it was about 10 o'clock. And her classmates asked her to take her to home so that they will explain her senior brother that they were still working till that moment. And she told them everything is set. There is no problem about it. He came home to report it to me. Yes, you have to go some miles before entering the family of the lady. I agree. When you meet that person, you have an aspect. What had caught my attention, I've just told it. I said that I like black complexion ladies, and there should that the lady those ladies should not be taller than me. So those are my requirements. When I saw the lady, that's this one is interesting, and asked some questions. What do you do? She said that she was still going to school in the premier. She was in premier at that time. I was closing my fourth year at University of Calavi. I was, and there is, I'm 8 years older than her. Let me remind you that if you want to know the real age of a lady, try to add 6 years to her actual age. That is why it is most of the time advised to meet, to talk about love affairs with ladies. I'm talking to gentlemen now who are not older than you, because they are mentally psychologists. I didn't work in that domain, but I confess that ladies are in advance. If you consider two people of the same age, the way or the memory of the lady is so developed that she can remind you some details of what you said when you met her the first time. You have already forgotten everything, but she always have everything in her brain. That is why to balance a little bit, it is interesting to have a wife that is younger than you in age. But there are some situations that the wife is older than the gentleman, and they are still together. And most of the time, I know a couple like that. The lady's father asks the husband of his wife how he has succeeded in having control over that lady, because she knows that the lady, her daughter, he knows that her daughter has a how can I put it?
Like she is authoritarian.
Yes, or strong character. And he asked the his husband how he has succeeded in staying with her daughter, and from that point he gave many responsibilities to that man during his old days. Even though he had boys and girls as children, that man was the person who helped him go to the bank and many things, you see. So there are many steps. You meet the person, and there is something forcibly that attracts your attention. But after that step, if you want to be responsible, you have to go to her place. Otherwise, you will be disappointed later. To know many aspects. Don't ask how as a gentleman, even ladies, you have to go to visit the the family of your boyfriend, because I've already said that it is not the first meeting. It is not after the first meeting you will ask the lady or gentleman, I'm going to visit your parents. No. When you meet and you're sure that this can lead to marriage, yes, you try to visit. And from those frequent visits, you will learn many things that will help you later.
Okay, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for this advice. And if I can sum up, I would say that when things start getting serious, you have to visit the family and see the way they live and see the education of the partner you are choosing for your life. Now, I would like to remind all of you, for those who are just joining us, we are discussing about marital life. And as I said, it's a conversation. So please write down your questions. If you have any question that cross your mind, write it down. At some point, I will stop. We'll have a conversation. So you ask your questions, the guest will answer before we continue. So it's important that we have an interactive conversation. So my next question would be, how do you know that a man is ready for a relationship? Because you just talked about they have to see if they have to consider the age and also consider the lady they are going with. But how do you know as a woman that yes, this man is serious and he is ready for a relationship? And when can a man know that yes, I'm ready for a relationship? So
Thank you. Living a marital life is not a matter of joke. It is a matter of responsibility. And before coming together as husband and wife, the boy and the girl should be themselves. And there was a song I heard when I was at university for during a listening comprehension session. There is a part that said, "Take time to know girl. Take time to know girl," and you must have some assets. As I said, being husband and wife is a matter of responsibility. And if you accept to be husband and wife, is a question of money as well. You have to be sure that you can protect your wife. And later on, if you get children, you can protect them. Those points are point of responsibility. I told you that I have a lady. No, I have a daughter and two sons, and frequently I invite them and remind them some aspects through the following questions. The first question, and who am I regarding to you? And the answer is, you are our father. And Mama Stella, yes, she is our mother. Okay, and you, we are your children. That's great. Now, is it possible to have two fathers or two mothers here right now? And the answer is no. So, and I tell them, if you want to be mother, you have to live here first. You have to leave this family. But you are still my daughter. But you cannot go out with a gentleman and tell me that you get pregnant. There won't be two mothers here.
Okay.
You won't go out and pregnant a lady and say that you are father. It's not possible to have two fathers here.
Okay.
So if you want to be a father or a mother, prepare yourself so that when you will be ready, then I will give you my blessing, and then you will become father and mother. It is painful to parents to hear that their daughter who is still going to school is become pregnant. As parents, it will be a little bit difficult to accept it. So before you engage in marital life, you should be responsible. Otherwise, you cannot. If it is uh, in the fields of marriage that you want to learn, no, it won't be easy. Right now, if you are still with your parents, father and mother, let's please try to learn with them. Try to learn with them and ask questions. If you are still with them, ask a question. If you are almost ready to get married, ask. If you are a man, ask questions to your father. If he is no more, then be friends with people who are experienced, who are older than you, who live with their wives and children, and ask them questions. I think I can remember 3 or 5 days ago, my children Gerard and Pascal. Gerard is in CZM, Pascal is in CP. And they went to their mother and asked her, Mama, où est-ce que l'enfant sort?
Very good question.
And their mother, so leave me alone. I don't have, because if she want to answer that question, she has to go through some sexual aspects. And the kids, they came to me and they asked me, Papa, on a demandé à maman par où l'enfant sort, ben, elle n'a pas répondu. Moi, je pense que l'enfant sort par la nuit là où on fait caca. And you are going to leave your kids with that representation in their mind? No. I said, yeah, that is 12 and 6 years old kids. And I went through YouTube and I found some video that I played to them. And they concluded that it is not true the route they have talked about, but another route. And I told them that if you want to know more about that route in Troisième, you will learn about it. So everything is more, you must have your model before you get into marriage. But if uh, uh, things go upside down and when you are still with your parents you become pregnant, as I said, this one is a situation we don't wish, but it is a problem that we have to solve. From that, the lady can learn, because there are some people, some couples where the lady after that they say that I don't want to go with that boy anymore. How can we solve that problem?
Your questions. So one last question before I receive the questions from the audience. You talked about responsibility. So what are the aspects? Is it financial responsibility, like saying that yes, the guy is financially stable, or is it about education? Is it when a person has completed the education that we can say yes, they are stable and they can get engaged? Or maybe is it when they have a house they are living far from their parent that we can say yes, he is ready to receive somebody and then he is responsible. So how do we define responsibility in that case? And when do we say yes, this guy or this woman is responsible and ready for that relationship?
Thanks a lot. When I talk about responsibility, the first aspect is not financial. No. The first one is, are you mature to handle the situation, some of the situation you have noticed in your own family, that is with when you are with your parents, your father and mother. We don't see everything in the family, but we see some aspects, some conflicts. Are you ready? Can you accept the other because of her misbehavior, taking into account her bad assets, her bad points, before taking into account the good points? Because when we are in friendship, we always show the positive aspect. I am the only one that fits you. I am the only one that can help you. And from the both sides, even though uh, that your girlfriend quarrel with everybody in the neighborhood, when you are around, you won't see that. So you are going to see the positive, always the positive aspect. But from the positive aspect, and I said from the your visits into the family, you will find some of the negative aspects. You cannot be with someone taking into account only her or his positive aspects. You are going to be with a lady or a gentleman first because of some of her or his negative aspect that you know. And when we are talking of responsibility, as husband, you must protect your wife and your children. If you are not ready to protect them, offer them accommodation. When they are sick, you are supposed to take them to hospital, because there are some family where when the children get sick, it is only the mother who cares about them. This is not because the husband has no means to do so. No, but you must be ready. And in the family, you cannot be 100% ready. As I've said at the beginning, living together is a continuous process, is a lifelong process. So being responsible is a lifelong process because you will face many difficulties from your wife and from some of the members of her family. So if you are not responsible enough to forgive, I can remember a novel that I read, and in the novel I can't remember the title. They wrote something. They wrote, "Marriage is a foolish trap for a man to work into."
100% right. Really?
Foolish trap for a man to work into. So to round it up, the aspect of responsibility is there are some basic aspects that you are going to develop when you come together. But today things have changed. Before, when I was with my parents, it is only daddy who provide the means, money. But nowadays things have changed. We have to contribute from both sides. That's why ladies also are forcing uh, to get a job in order to contribute financially to the life of the family, because they if we want to pay for the care mothers give our children, it will be beyond their salary. So they contribute at that point, and they bring also their financial contribution. But most of the time, try to manage your family so that your contribution should be higher than the financial. No, I'm talking of the financial contribution. Your own should be higher than the one of your wife. Otherwise, you will hear some words that you will regret. Agbaya, kan lo wet no mina aku biya. Aku mo so pero jakuto mo. Aku du sadi mo to ko me adu si ami o. Won foni no. Audio video do kor me. Asihu lu bobo asihu na ya. Ti wa entendre, you will hear many things that you will regret.
Okay. Thank you so much for that sharing. It was great and powerful. Thank you so much for sharing so much wisdom. Again, please, I have a question because I want us to finish talking about relationship after we jump into marriage. So to wrap the relationship things up, at which some of the relationship do we know that yes, this is the right person for me? Like I have studied the person, I have seen that yes, he's responsible, he's everything. At which time do I say yes, he is the right person, and I can engage into the marriage with that person?
Okay, there is no specific moment. When I consider my case, it was my mother who told me that Coco, that is how she called me.
Yes.
Coco. No more the vilebe no wa dusia mi o. Amo ilo no ton chenye tonji. I don't know how to put it in English.
It was well said. It's good.
And when she said that, Uncle say, she came to Calavi to tell me that, because at that time I have many ladies on the list.
Oh, really?
Tanya, Celine, Sylvie, But she came to Calabi and said that this lady is interesting, is good. You can live your marital life with her. So just because I said marriage is a foolish trap for a man to work into. When you fell in love with someone, you are blind, completely blind. You always see her positive or his positive aspects. That is why it is important. If Roger is found with you now, ask him to come into your family to visit your parents. If the his issue is limited to sex, he won't come. But if it is beyond sex, he will come and visit your parents. So you are the man who is okay. Okay. And who are you? Where are you from? Who is your father? Who is your mother? And so on and so forth. They will ask some questions. And after the departure of the lady or the gentleman, her parents will continue the conversation with the lady. This man, this boy who come here, do you think it is serious or it is a simple joke? Do you love her? Do you agree? Because good parents cannot impose a lady or a gentleman to the son or daughter for marriage. No, it's not good. You ask, but I have seen this or that in his or her behavior. Have you noticed that? And if parents don't agree with that union, they will throw some questions and aspects. They will uh, uh, even some people consult the far, some parents. Do nyavi lo ijevi biton kudo eka no po bo inu kon bo jivi bo no po kaka isokudo a. Ask the Ifa priest that question. That is another reality we are not going to develop here. Some people who are good at uh, Ifa, they go to consult, and if the Ifa said yes, Bowli, yes, they can go together. Good. If there is the opposite answer from the Ifa, they will some parents skillfully ask the son or daughter not to go forward. Let others say no. I say no. I'm your father and I'm your mother, but we say no to that union. And then in some cases, the lady and gentleman they force the union, and in the great majority of case, this doesn't last. I've seen some aspects when I was teaching at Daklame in Ketu area. They went together, but whenever the girl gave birth 3 or 5 days after the baby died, and the parents of the lady came to her father-in-law to beg for pardon, and they did some sacrifices before maybe the third after the third baby is alive today, and they are together. Though there are some areas that parents, as the representatives of God on earth, have some power, and they have seen some aspects. Even if you want to disobey, please listen to them and discuss with them. Our parents, if they they are actually our parents won't expect bad things to happen to us. They will always expect good. There are so many cases. There are some cases the couple they disobey and they live a good marital life. There are some situations like that. But we are in a complex case that we cannot say that this aspect is the best one, the other aspect is the common point is that in any case try to talk to your parents, try to bring your future husband to your parents, your future wife to your parents, so that they are going to see some aspect. If uh, you don't have your parents alive, there are some friends, and I asked you, yeah, I told you earlier, to be friends with people who are older than you. My best friends are not my best confidence. People I talk with are not the members of my family. No, there are in the great majority there are some friends. I have some people of old ages that uh, I pay visit to learn from their experience.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming here today. Thank you so much for showing up for this beautiful session of Talk Inspire. I had a great time hosting this session because I learned a lot and I hope you also learned a lot. My question would simply be, how was the session? You just tell me a word of your appreciation of the session and together we'll see. So I'll ask anyway, I'll try to get as many answers as I get. Just one word. How was the session? You just give me one word, okay? So how was the session?
Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you.
Astonishing.
Astonishing. I saw a hint here. Wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else? Educative. Great. Anybody else? Fantastic. Thanks a lot. It's over. Okay, thank you so much. So it was fantastic, amazing, wonderful, educating, and everything. Thank you so much for showing up. Can you please give yourself a big round of applause for taking this time to be here? Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are attending Talk Inspire for the first time, this is a space where we come together to learn, to ask questions about life. As Socrates said, everybody is a prisoner until you start asking questions and finding the right answers. So when you start asking questions, you discover the world from a larger perspective. And our mission as Talk Inspire is to empower young minds, people that are willing to be different, people that are willing to build a future that will look at and say, yes, they are young people that, but they are making the difference. And our mission is to come together, call the people that have more experience than us so that they share their experience. Together we learn, together we grow, and we build a brighter future. We don't only discuss marriage, we discuss entrepreneurship, we discuss business, we discuss all the aspects of youth and education. Together we grow, together we build, and together we advance.
Before we come forward for the family picture, I would like our guest if he could say his last words for the audience before we come for the family picture. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank you, the organizer of this session. I confess that when I've been contacted by Mr. Zamenon to attend, uh, to be here as a guest speaker, and taking into account the topic, I told him that I'm not a priest, I'm not even a mayor. What am I going to tell the youth about? I asked myself, what am I going to tell the youth as far as the marriage is concerned? And little by little, I discovered that first condition, I'm living a marital life. I'm married and I'm still living with my wife and children. And second aspect, I'm teacher. Teacher of what? Teacher of the English language. The session will be in English. Okay, I have noticed why I have been appointed to be their guest speaker. And on the spot, I told Mr. Valente that yes, I can do it. I can do even yesterday. I didn't know that I can discuss, I can answer your questions. But if you notice that I didn't give appropriate answers, as I said, language learning or marital life is an ongoing process. I'm still open to your questions. And let me tell you, I was not here as a lecturer, as I said at the beginning. I was also here to learn from you. And there are some questions I skillfully asked. And I've been experiencing those problems right now. And you gave me some pieces of advice that I'm going to experience at home. Don't say that. Don't say that he came here to give to answer to our questions. No, I've learned a lot from you, and there is a situation that situation. As far as soon as I reach home, I will set the matter, solve it using the pieces of advice you gave me, and then I will give you the feedback. Thank you very much.